Today, we are going to modify a Maverick Nerf Dart Blaster in order to make it shoot darts farther. To do this, we will remove the air restrictors. To start, we will need a small hammer, a standard Phillips head screwdriver, and a Maverick Blaster. To begin disassembling the blaster, we will unscrew the bolt mechanism. Once all the screws are loose, remove the front half of the bolt mechanism. Be sure to keep the second half in place and attached to the blaster. Now unscrew all 8 screws that are holding the main frame together. Be sure to put any loose screws in an area where they will not be lost. A cup or the lid of this toolkit work well. Do not be afraid to mix the screws together. They are all the same size. Once all the screws are loose, remove the cover of the main part of the frame. Once inside, be careful to note where all of the springs are, as they may fly off. Remove the small orange piece and the spring on the second half of the bolt in order to not lose them. Now to remove the black cylinder that houses the 6 dart barrels. Pull back on the orange barrel joint to release the cylinder and lift the cylinder out of its housing. Stop. Hammer time. Now we are going to use the hammer to start opening the cylinder. Start by using the claw end of the hammer to pull out a thin metal rod. Do not be afraid to apply some force to the hammer. When the rod is free, pull it out from the black cylinder. Be careful of the small spring and orange stopper on the other side of the cylinder. Put these with the screws and other parts. Place the cylinder on its side with the orange top facing down and unscrew the 3 screws on top. This gray piece will cover them, therefore it will have to be rotated in order to access all the screws. Rotate the cylinder so that the orange part is facing up, and then lift it up to reveal the interiors of the barrels. With the interiors exposed, remove the 6 orange rod pieces. This will reveal the air restrictors. They are the 3-pronged circular pieces. Remove these from the blaster with their springs. After removing the air restrictors, put the 6 orange rod pieces back. To put the cylinder back together, make sure to line up the holes for the 3 screws that hold it together. With the holes lined up, carefully put the top and the bottom of the cylinder back together. Now put the 3 screws that were holding the cylinder together back in their place. The next step is to replace the small metal rod back into the cylinder. Once the rod is all the way through the cylinder, place the spring and the orange plug back on the rod. With the plunger in place, carefully pound it into place with the hammer. Next, we are going to place the barrel cylinder back in the frame of the blaster. Pull back on the orange barrel joint and line it up with the barrel cylinder. Replace the small orange piece and its spring where they were on the bolt mechanism. Now that everything is in place, put the second half of the cover on. Be sure to screw in all 8 screws. Line up the 2 halves of the bolt mechanism and screw the 3 screws back into place. Now the modification is finished, and the blaster will fire farther than before.